some racket from there, isn't it? Some racket from there.
Cutting down the tree.
Good morning. We're just testing the kit on the 11th, the par 3 at Mount Murray. What a great time to switch on the camera. We've only got the artisan, the master. It's Gary. We can watch him skillfully appoint this pin position that's going to test the Northern Counties' finest golfers on this grand day at Mount Murray here on the Isle of Man. It's the Northern Counties, the main event on the golfing calendar for the elite amateur golfers. So Gary and the boys have been working their magic all week, all year. Long hours, big efforts. Look at him go. Let's have a zoom in. This is specially for Marcus, the a commentator of the whole appointments and how they're done and what not. Little treat for you. Maybe you can screen record this. Watch it at your leisure. So we've not started doing our broadcast properly as yet, but we have had a few of the players go through on the 3rd, so we might just dial into that. But absolutely massive round of applause for Gary and his team. Best greens on the Isle of Man. Don't think anyone is going to dispute that fact at all. That's one of our Yorkshire players, possibly, as we saw yesterday when they were practicing, they donning the very fashionable bucket hat. Attracted quite a bit of attention. Great to see, isn't it? Now then, this is great. Get your technology sorted. Was it Golf Genius? We put the information online. Download the app and you'll be able to catch up on the leaderboard and the tee times, and I can just check in on the list of scores so far, and it tells me that Durham James Glenn is 3 under through 9. Dan Hayes 2 under, so they're the scores in the red. Tied 3rd after 6 holes is our very own Darryl Collister. We're always banking on Darryl to put in a good score at the Mount. So get your Golf Genius app and you can feed into what's actually going on. You don't have to listen to me, just turn the volume off if you just like the pictures. But we'll try and keep you entertained during the day. Have it on your desk. Whilst you're toiling away at work on what this appears to be a hot summer's day. You could call it a flatty, but I can just sense a bit of breeze. Came up here at 6:15 this morning, and the place was shrouded in mist. We thought, oh gosh, it could be a horror bag of a day. One of those situations where, can we see the first hedge? But alas, Manannan has been kind to us. The fog has gone. The course is in tip-top condition. Can't say it enough. Speaking to the lads who are playing in the event, so in and out of the shop yesterday, they'd be chatting, and they're in awe of these greens. They're saying they're the best greens they've played on all year. So that really says something. Course looks great. A lot of definition is what we like. And we'll just see what happens today. Manx lads, Manx team. They know the territory, they know the layout. They've been up practicing, working hard on the games. Good luck to them. Nerves will be jangling. There's no question about that. But we've got some good players. We know that. Some really good players. So, yeah, big event. Up early today. Well organised crew of the northern counties. Little team that they've got set up in the office just behind the shop. Hive of activity. And it's good to get to see how the teams compare, how they come in, how they look, how they act, how they dress, practice drills, what kind of management style they have, how they deal with you. It's all very interesting, just picking up these little pointers. Yorkshire, Lancashire, Durham, Northumbria, Cheshire. Cumbria, Isle of Man. So if you've got any comments, anything you want to chip in on, please just stick them on the page. I can pick up, I can ask any questions you like. Because we're here all day, the back of the 11th, at the back of the hotel. The Comis Hotel and Golf Resort. 4-star offering, the best hotel on the Isle of Man by a country mile. In cracking shape it is, looking great. Players all had a big breakfast, and the officials and guests were treated to a cocktail party last night in the beautiful suite overlooking the course. These big panoramic picture windows just really showing off this, what would you call it, a country park. The players who I've been talking to, they can't believe the size of the place, really. So bit of thought about management, electric golf trolleys. Most of them have brought them over. They know they're in for a long day. I could see some of the county teams were armed with plenty of bottles of water and Lucasades and stuff to keep them going. So we can just have a look at the third, get the camera set up now. Who have we got on the hill? I think we got spotters, officials, red flag getting waved. Red flag is probably telling you, don't it just yet. And we'll see some action shortly. We've got some players approaching the 9th green, and they'll be the first pairings that were out. So if I just get hold of my list, that was Will Bow and James Glenn. Gonna have to do a bit of shuffling with me paperwork and what have you, because the printout didn't say which county they're from, so let's have a look. Will Bow is Cumbria and James Glenn is Durham. And they went out at 7:30. As we've seen, Will Bow, Cumbria. So I'm not quite sure who we've got here. How many have we had through yet? What time are we on now? So we're on 9:30. 9:30. Must give apologies. There's a bit of noise in the background, which is that's not me, by the way. Someone's going mad with a chainsaw. So, okay, we've got our first two coming into view. We've done a lot of corporates, haven't we, with the TV and video camera on this hole. I think if you look on this page, you'll see how not to play it. But today, we're going to have some golfing excellence. Pan that out. So first one of the day is a club short. Looking at the flag, tells you it's perhaps a little bit benign. Let's just zoom in. See who we've got. Try and work out who's who for you. It's not easy, but we'll get it together. Perhaps we'll get some of the officials up here later on just to give us a bit of an insight. I tell you what, there's a bit of a breeze. I can just feel it over my right ear. Oh, hello. So, there we go. On the green. If happy with the picture quality and the sound, just give us a thumbs up somewhere. Just a comment, say everything's coming through loud and clear. Hello to, I think it's James Wallace. I think he's out in the Middle East, not the Far East. I think it's James who's on the group chat, the club group chat. So we'll give him a mention. So let's see, we've got Wilbo and James Glenn, and as we saw before when I looked at the app, got too many apps on this phone. James Glenn of Durham. I think the Durham lads were in the, I think they were in the blue. So I'm presuming that's the guy on the left, and Cumbria. That's Wilbo. Let's see. So where does he feature on the scores? If I can find him, it's all new. But Golf Genius is what you need to. Wilbo was 1 over. But we don't know. That is after James, and Will was scores after 9. Bit of technology. Love it, don't we? Sauntering up towards the hole, bottom side, very nice. We know though, top side on this one can be a little bit mischievous, a little bit naughty. Just slipping off to the side, so did we see that? Bit of movement there, wasn't it? Always miss him on the bottom side at Mount Murray. Is that true? Tap in 3 up and down there, so I'm presuming that is Wilbo from Cumbria. And, James Glenn is the Durham lad because he's in the blue. There we go. That's a 3. Pair of pars. So just checking in now, got James Wallace out in Q8 of all places. Out in Q8. What about that? Our furthest afield viewer. Isn't that great? Isn't that fantastic? The power of technology. Amazing, really, when you think about it, that an idiot like me can get hold of a camera and do this. Absolutely incredible. So I'd imagine that we'll get a fair few coming to watch later on. We'll be on the balcony at the Brulot. The bar will be open later. I quite fancy just tucking into a nice chilled Sauvignon Blanc. Maybe after lunch. Wax lyrical. It's going to be a long day. A long day. Absolutely superb. And the players will be coming through thick and fast in 2 balls, so they'll be getting round pretty quick. A few people milling around, a few officials, because it's funny, isn't it, how these golf unions manage to drag so many people here. I do like that. Oh dear. Expenses will be getting hammered. Love it. Hiya. So we've got a few. Place is getting a bit busier now. I can keep referring to my app, see what we've got here. Oh, I know this guy. Oh dear. We've got an injury in our midst, and we've got Wilco. Now, you might know Dave Wilkinson. He had a bad day on Saturday because I think Borough got battered at home, and that's his team, so look out if he's got a miserable face on him. Big Borough fan, but if you want to learn a bit more about Dave, look into his podcast that he did with Julian Sutton's missus, Sharon. Absolutely fascinating. What a great guy. Right. So Phil Ridden and Tom Osborne, and just a little bit shy. So that's 3 out of 3 that are a bit short. Said there was a bit of a breeze. Can't see anything with the flag, but it's certainly here on this top deck. So that's Neil Kane on crutches. Oh, there we are. Nice one. Nice shot, bottom side. So that's Phil Ridden and Tom Osborne. How ironic. Now then, have we got one of our own over there? Let's see if we can grab some people. Sun is coming out now. Things are getting a bit bright. Dave. In for a treat here. Just I've got one of our golfing friends on the Isle of Man scene, Dave Wilkinson. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Jed. Nice to be here to support the guys.
Before we get the golf going, I want to talk about football.
Oh dear.
What happened on Saturday?
Well, Middlesbrough won last night, which is all we should really be interested in. Beating Huddersfield and giving Neil Warnock a kicking 3-2, but yeah, not very good on Saturday. How did Bolton do? I didn't look that far down.
We started off with a 3-0 win against Lincoln City, those giants, Jolly Green Giants.
Did you play? Are you playing in the Carabao Cup tonight or last night? Or?
Last night, yeah, we took Barrow out big time.
I didn't quite see that on Sky Sports. It must have been towards the end of the programme.
You need to get a dodgy box, mate.
No. Pillar of the community. Who's playing here now?
Well, this is Phil Ridden and Tom Osborne. Now, I have to research various little things here to see where they're from. Northumberland and Yorkshire.
Right. The Manx guys are quite well spread out, aren't they?
Yeah, so we should have Darryl coming up next.
Yeah. That's why we've got
After
here now.
this.
And then we've got Liam, Freddie. Do we have any scores yet, or is it too early?
No, we do have scores. If you go on the Golf Genius app, okay.
What's an app, Jed? You would know. I don't know what an app is.
It's this thing you get on your phone. I don't understand. It's really clever. But we've got Darryl at 1 over after 6. But the first guy came through, James Glenn.
Durham, see?
3.
That's where I come from.
Are you saying that all people from Durham are skilled in golf? Because
Well,
that theory doesn't stand
I did have
up.
my best round in a long time on Sunday just gone at Royal Ramsey. 78 gross. So anybody knows about my golf ability
You are
will
kidding.
know that is amazing.
You are kidding. Right, there we go. So this is the Yorkshire guy, isn't it, in the blue, and he's just lipped out. Yeah, that's proper Yorkshire. So he's not wearing the bucket hat. And the other guy, Tom Osborne,
They're leaving it short on this hole, are they? Few of them.
so far. Oh, Phil Ridden is Northumberland, and Tom Osborne is Yorkshire. So imagine that's Tom Osborne who's just played there.
So is Lancashire your second team today then, after the Isle of Man jet?
Well,
Being from Bolton.
It's got to be in the DNA somewhere, but you're impartial, remember, apart from the Manx boys. Here we go. Tough one. Oh dear. Oops.
well.
Let's turn that off.
People putting suntan lotion on, that's impressive.
Good advice. Well, so tell me, you had a 78. Just, was it a load of fluky putts or steady?
Good up and downs, holding the putts. And it just went right for once, which most golfers would recognise every now and again. The previous score was 97 at Rowney in the senior champs.
Oh, I heard that was a bit wet.
So 21 points better.
I heard that was a bit wet.
21
I was
shots better,
away.
sorry.
I missed all that.
The weather was incredibly windy, and then it absolutely poured down in the afternoon.
But what time did you play?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock in the morning.
9 o'clock in the morning, yeah. And it was really wet about 2ish, so a lot of people didn't go out, which was a shame for the organisers and the sponsor, but it was really bad, if you remember.
There was none of that jiggery pokery where people were moving their tea times, were they? Like, I was out at 2 and then I'm out at 10.
I don't think so.
That's
That
against the
wouldn't-
rules,
That wouldn't
isn't
happen
it?
in a golf union event.
That's against the rules. But yeah, I believe Rowney in great nick too.
Yes, it was.
Great. They've increased a bit of rough, which is much needed. A bit of definition. And the mount here looking stunning.
Yeah, it looks really smart. I've not played it for a few months, having been a member here for 25 years, but it looks really smart.
It is. The county teams are more than impressed. Now you came with the man on crutches. What's the story?
That's one of the Isle of Man's top golfers,
I
and I would
know.
have thought he would have been close to the team, if not in the team, if he'd been fit. But
He's got the Stuart Wallace boot, hasn't he?
or the Stuart Wallace punch, one of the two. I'm not sure.
You can't say.
Maybe
But-
it's somebody else.
But I think no. How is he?
Business League Hockey
You
what I'm
are
told.
kidding. What a waste of time that is. Business League hockey. Now, we've got one of our island's favourites, haven't we? Here he is, on the tee. What a great guy. Now, I hear he's going to college in the US of A.
I didn't know that.
So I think so. I think so. I mean, when you look at...
Basketball or?
I think, when you think of Anna Dawson, and, you know, what she's done, was it Massachusetts or something, for 3 years, and how well she's doing now. For Sam, best of luck, fella. A world ahead of you.
See you soon, Jed.
Thank you, Dave.
Good luck to everybody.
Thank you, Dave. Oh. Just a bit of a distraction there. So that is Joe Robson and Sam Crawford coming through. So they were out at 9:20. So if I look on my clock now, 9:50. So it's taken them half an hour to get to here. Let's just swing over. We've got another one coming in on here. Shot coming in. Let's pan it out. See if anyone hits. Oh, we've got one pin eye. Look at that. Top side pin eye. Very nice. Just a bit short when I say pin eye, but best one so far. We can swing round for the tee shot here. It's all happening now. There we go. A lot of foot movement there. Just spanks it down the middle. I like the style of these golfers, you know. Okay. Let's get right in on Sam. Sam Crawford. Just hiked it up the left, but he knows that it's okay up there. Now, I think we just had Darryl knock it on the dance floor, past the pin. So he's just there. He's about 20 odd foot past. So that's Darryl. So that's game number 3. They were out at 7:50. So it's taken are we talking, what are we on, 9:50, 2 hours to get to this point, which is the 11th hole. So I think that is pretty good time. Pretty good time indeed. So we'll just see. So Darryl is playing with Dan Hayes. Let's just get a zoom in, see that we've got our facts right. Absolute ambassador for the game of golf is Darryl. Plays golf in the style of Tommy Fleetwood. Oh, there we go. So here you have it. It's our first Manxie through on the 11th. Dan Hayes of Cheshire. So Darryl will he'll know this one. Didn't quite get the roll he wanted, didn't hit it flush. The ball just bobbled as it ran away from his putter. Darryl, of course, was in the team in 2015 when the Isle of Man came so close here. Is it going to be our first two of the day? Drops in, Dan Hayes, delightful. Be beaming like a Cheshire cat. No problem at all, Darryl. In all the way. Well done. You can always bank on Darryl. Isle of Man Golf Ambassador. Through and through, there's no question about that. Absolutely a fantastic representative. All the skills and credentials, the affability. Super bloke. So it's the Bucket Hat Brigade, haven't we? Who have we got here? So this will be Chris Brown of Durham and Jack Worley of Yorkshire. Love it how these players are just hitting the driver every time. Down the third, that's the way to do it. No pussyfooting around with a dinked hybrid. Snap hooked up the left, avoiding the cabbages on the right. But I think we can just flip over to our next guys on the 11th tee because they're not ready on the third. So Ian Kenwright, I think he's a Lancashire lad. He's got bit of seniority in the team, I think, from chatting to the team manager yesterday. So there's a bit of wind got up again. Is it going to be another short one? There's only Darryl who's put it past. Bottom side, safe uphill. So I'm guessing that'll be the Lancashire bloke. Let's have a look at my other sheet. Rob Spence is from Cumbria. And he's short, and you know what, the wind just blew up a bit because my notes were flapping. Let's go back over to the other tee. You're getting a lot of bang for your buck on the free subscription golf service today. Amazing how they hit the balls, these lads. I think this is one of the Durham guys. Just try and work out who it is. Just taking an iron. Absolutely smashes it down there. So, let's see, we're up to 10 o'clock. So that should be 10 o'clock, and I'd imagine that's going to be Chris Brown and Jack Warlier. Chris Brown of Durham. So coming up, we've got Luke Kelly of Lancashire on the third tee. And my mate Herminder, who gave a lovely interview yesterday. Then we've got Will Coxon and Lucas Martin, and then Jamie Arneil. One of our favourites, real character, Ramsey through and through. He's teed off at 10, and he'll be through at round about past. So we look forward to Jamie knocking it down the third. So let's just dial back in. So I'm having to remember two things at once. Now we've got the third tee, and then who is on the green here, but we know it's Rob Spence and Ian Kenwright. So, Rob Spence, perfect little. Oh, it's just, you see that? It's just ran on a couple of feet there. That's going to test him. That is going to test him. And then we've got Ian Kenwright. So, yeah, he's got a few senior years on him, I think, there. Because you don't get many young lads called Ian these days, do you? It's a bit like Kevin, innit? Don't get many Kevins about younger age. Kenwright as well. Good Lancashire name. Bill Kenwright? Who's that? Start for 10. Ooh. Now, I'm not a big fan of that putt that he's left himself. So a couple of county lads have put themselves under a bit of pressure. Anyone that knows this course will sense that there's a couple of tricky ones here. Oh, it's just slipped. So that's the first 4 of the day. I've had a 2. I've got AJ alongside of me. And I think he might be willing to have a little chat. Let's plug him in. Just a short word, AJ. Our manager of the Comis Hotel.
Enjoying the stunning golf at this morning. These boys certainly can get it round this golf course, and we're wishing them every success today.
Well, thank you, AJ. Our hotel manager. He's going into a meeting, I can see that. So there we have it, 2 4s. That was... that's where the putt just caught him out a little bit. So I've got a few people coming down to watch now. A few officials, a few locals. And the breeze is just up a bit. So it looks like we've got a bit of a gap now. Bit of space. There you have it, Isle of Man. 8 great golf courses. Fantastic tour options, minibuses. We'll look after you. All the courses are so welcoming and friendly. No question about it. They're absolutely loving to embrace the visitors that come and play golf on the Isle of Man. It's quite remarkable. Big friendly welcomes, and of course you can stay at the Comis Hotel and Golf Resort. Residents can be treated to a beautiful swimming pool. Gym, state of the art. We've got the driving range and this fantastic golf course. Excellent eating and dining facilities. Beautiful bedrooms. It is pure fantasticness. Best hotel on the island. So if you fancy a golf tour, if you think you like the look of the Isle of Man, take in all the sights and sounds, the TT course, 8 great golf courses. Just get in touch. Isle of Man Golf Holidays, bringing you thousands of golfers, decade of experience, and you're always going to get a big friendly welcome from all the golf clubs. They really do bend over backwards to wish you a great day's golf. So we've got a bit of a gap. I'm going to dip into my app, see if the scoring is coming up with any magic, because I know we had the HQ set up at the golf club. Bob Stoffel and his team. So yeah, there's some more scores up here. So James Glenn, astronomical scoring. Well, not really. I was just trying to link up the name of Glenn to his performance, but he is top of the leaderboard. He's 2 under par, and it does say after 13 holes. Dan Hayes, Cheshire, who's playing with Darrell, who we saw get 2. He's 1 under. Darrell is level after 11. And just scrolling down, we've got Liam Cowan. He's 1 over after 6. So there you have it. But we've got Rob Spence and Tom Osborne there. You've seen them go through 5 and 6 over. So that is showing you that this course is not getting taken apart on what you'd call sublime conditions. Gentle breeze. Everything in perfect order. So for some reason we've got a little gap now. I might just go and see if I can get a cuppa. If I can. Let's have a look. See who's around who can get us a brew. Here we go, coming through from Cheshire. Had a chat with him yesterday. Hominder. Interesting. So when you speak to some of these golfers, members of big clubs, but I think it was something like Queen's Park that he said he was a member of. And he paid 80 quid a year, but because he's playing in so many events round and about, you never actually get to use your home club membership if you're an elite golfer. So he's playing in all the big county stuff, travelling far and wide, and just has all his business at one little club down outside Chester, I think. So, wise words there. I quite like that. So his partner, Luke Kelly, Lancashire. It's always safe out left on this. You just got to avoid the right. Oh, that is like left of a left thing there. Yeah, I think that's someone's put their arm up. I think it's okay. Is it safe? We've all done that shot, haven't we? Pulled it way up the left because you're dead out on the right. So we must have a bit of a gap for some reason, a lost ball, because we're not getting our next ones. They're not through yet. Not been through for about 10 minutes. So there's been a delay of some description. Go back to me. Just flicking through these apps like nobody's business. Very good though. Again, Golf Genius. Oh, Amanda's taken another. Yeah, Heminder was safe. That was good. He got the message. So the next one is coming through. We've got Ben Willis and Cameron Thoburn. And the scoring app says that after 6 holes, they were both 3 over par. Ben Willis from Durham and Cameron Thoburn from Northumberland. Oh, and you can actually go into the scores. I've just realised this. So, this is interesting. So, Ben started with a 7. Not a great beginning to your Mount Murray adventure, is it, when you're throwing a 7 on the first? Well done that. And Cameron, he also had a 7 on the first hole. Let's have a look. So we're going to have a look at these scores. So we'll go to the top again. So James Glenn, he birdied 1, 2, and he got a birdie 2 on 6. He's had a couple of bogeys, 10 and 12. And a birdie on 14. So get into your Golf Genius. You can check out what scores have been put on the doors. So we'll go to Darryl. Darryl got a 3 on the 8th. Round of applause, Darryl. That's a stinker of a hole as we know it. This is great. Get into your app. Oh, we're in for a treat today now. In fact, if you want, just post some comments on the YouTube box. You can let us know what your thoughts are. Add into the mix, so to speak. So a bit of a gap at the moment. I wish someone could just come and get us a brew. Let's see what's going on. Hold on.
Just like that, just below.
Yeah, I've got the president of the Northumberland Golf Union just come to join me on the camera. What's your name, fella?
Ian Harrison.
Ian Harrison. Gosh, now the members of Mount Murray who'll be watching will know that we've also got a guy called Ian Harrison who's a bit of a golfer, but you're a completely different shape and size. Ian's about 6'20", and I think when he goes to the Chinese, he'll order 2 portions for himself.
Oh, not like me.
Not like you. You're more traditional. So, tell me, you've been to the Northern Counties several times. You've seen them come. You've seen them go. How's the Isle of Man shaping up?
It's doing all right at the moment. It's the weather's good. The last time I was here, this green on the 9th was flooded, and there was a river running through the middle of it. I've been to a good number of them because I usually work in the office. I usually help run these events.
Oh, with Bob and the crew.
Yes, and I work with Dennis Trickett, the previous secretary. So yes, I've been to an awful lot of them. I've had good days when Northumberland have won it, and I've had very bad days when we haven't done very well. It's one of those things. You just enjoy the day, and if the weather's good, you have a great day.
So, tell me, the team, are they a young team?
The team's very young. We have 2 experienced players playing at the start and finish of the team. The rest of the team, 3 of them were the English county champions at junior level 2-3 years ago. And they're in the team this year. 2 of them still play junior golf. One's it's his last year, and we've got 2 experienced hands who've won this competition 2 or 3 times. So, interesting team.
So tell me, what's the secret of having a successful county team? It must start very young with bringing junior golfers into the game. How do you do that so well?
We're lucky. For many years, Northumberland didn't run their juniors. We had an association that ran the juniors. They ran into financial difficulties and we took them on. And since we've taken them on, we've built a successful squad and a younger squad to keep the continuity going. But the very first squad the county dealt with has become extremely successful, and that is partly down to we got a number of very good players, and we at junior level all came through together.
Volunteers in clubs are important, aren't they?
Well, volunteers are crucial to everything that goes on, including at county level. There's a number of my executive here today who are all round the course following the players and looking after them, and they're giving up a week of time to come here and look after them. We do enjoy our golf, we love it, but it's an onerous task to make sure that everybody comes and supports and does everything that is needed.
Now, I think we've got one of your lads, Cameron Thoburn,
coming up
here. So he's not going to be in the white, is he?
Yes, he is.
He's in the white, is he?
It's him now. Well, he's standing looking at it, so I hope it's good. Oh, it's all right.
Well, there's a couple of good shots going into this tough par 3. There's a bit of a breeze. I don't think they're going to feel it down there. So, Cameron, what's his background? What club is he from?
He's from a club in the centre of Newcastle called Westerhope. It's produced some very good golfers. Cameron is one of the juniors that won the national final in 2019, I think it was. He's still a junior. He played he's playing in the junior team this year, but got a good prospect, and it's one of these things, you've got to play them in this competition so that they understand what the competition is.
What about pressure? Because when you're playing a competition alone, if you have a bad day, you have a bad day. But I'd say the pressure
is enormous.
Triple-fold. Six-fold.
Oh, it could be.
Six-fold.
They've all played in different events, but this one's different because every score, every shot counts. The interesting thing about this match that's coming up to the green now, this year they have Cameron and Ben played against each other at the Little Six, which is the junior version of this competition. They had 36 holes together. They then played for their counties in a county match, and they played each other in that match. So they seem to be playing against each other all the time. They're good friends, so it takes a bit of the pressure off with your friends. But
so Ben is just down the road, is it?
Yes. He's just down the road in Durham, just across the river from where Cameron's course is. So, and I think Ben also actually plays at a Northumberland course as well.
Oh.
He's a member at Close House. You might have heard it.
Yes. Yeah, that's a bit special, isn't it, up there?
It is. So if
he,
you've got the money, it's a place to play golf.
He crosses the border, does he?
Yeah, well, they do cross the border. It's close if you live close to each other.
So will you have matches against Durham as a one-off, or is there like a particular championship?
There is a league, and the northern counties play in the Northern League, which is Lancashire, Yorkshire, Cheshire, Cumbria, Northumberland, Durham, all play in a league. That's 1 year at home, 1 year away.
So these lads know each other's games. They do look about the same age, don't they? That sort of vintage. There we go. Let's see how he gets on. So here's Cameron, and it's got a reasonable oh dear me, it's always annoying, isn't it, just to leave it at that kind of level, but that length
he's coming up the hill, I think.
It's
just a little bit, but enough to.
We've had a couple of putts that have been challenging. You don't want to leave it topside
And then
par.
I watched the Lancashire lad below the hole, and he put it above it, and it didn't turn for him at the end. But
it's it might look flat, but it's not.
Yes.
So tell us about your golfing background.
My golfing background goes a long way back. Because I worked at Newcastle University, I joined Close House because it was owned by Newcastle University at the time. I played there and I was captain there. And from there I was asked to become secretary of one of the scratch leagues, which I did for about 12-15 years, secretary and then competition secretary for that. I retired from that and then I joined the Northumberland executive, and when the secretary retired I became secretary of Northumberland before I was then asked to be president.
So how many members are in the Northumberland golf scene, subscription playing?
15,000.
Wow.
We only have 40 clubs.
Yeah.
But we have about 15,000 members.
That's a good level of support, isn't it?
It is. Let them put out and then I'll... Yeah.
Nicely done.
There's 40 clubs. Most of those clubs will be based around Newcastle, and you have the normal big city clubs in Newcastle. There's a lot in Newcastle and in the surrounding areas. You would then go to the north of the county, where they have a completely different attitude about how they make their money, which is holiday makers.
No. 36 today is for this event, and then it's the seniors at Castletown, separate event.
Separate event.
Yeah.
So, what are the young lads doing? Are they're staying?
Yeah.
So they're going to support the seniors tomorrow?
I guess so, yeah. But maybe they might.
No, some of they're going home.
Yeah.
Some of them are going home. Yeah.
Some of them are off to America at the next weekend. They're flying to America back to their colleges.
Okay.
So they've got to be home. I know our captain's probably travelling home tomorrow,
Right.
because he's got to carry some of the bags over.
Do you know what ferry they're getting?
The Northumberland lads are flying, but they aren't here.
Right.
They're in Douglas, so it'll just go out to the airport, get on a plane, which takes them to. They've got to go to Bristol to get up to Newcastle.
Blimey, that sounds exciting.
It's ridiculous.
What a calendar they've got. So the young lads, they'll be finishing today, perhaps maybe having a few refreshments tonight, and then they're off early in the morning.
Yeah, and the others, if there's any cars or anything going, they'll be going via the Cat to Liverpool. And then there's a number of the executive who will be here tomorrow for the seniors. And then we all go on the ferry on Friday morning at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So I'm Ian Harrison. I'm the secretary. I'm president of Northumberland. It's my wife sitting there watching as well.
I had the honour to captain Stirlingshire once.
Oh right.
I was captain of Stirlingshire.
Would there be anywhere? Could we go in there and get a coffee?
There's no one down there till 12 o'clock, but I'll get somebody to come down and get you a coffee.
That would be lovely. Thank you very much.
Go and find when I'm off breakfast. So I'll come down and ask for. Is there any particular type of coffee?
It would just be a filter coffee with milk, and if we could have two.
Two black coffees in paper. Yeah. So
Yeah, as long as we can put milk in them, that'd
so
be.
we'll get you some milk on the sides.
Yeah,
So just two sort of Americanas with.
yeah, that would be lovely. Thank you.
What about that then, Ian? You're getting service from the man. That's Mr. Jameson, our manager, who he's quite modest about it, but he was a top golfer back in the day. As he said, he represented Stirlingshire, but he was in the era of where Colin Montgomery, round that area, Prestwick and Turnberry, he was competing in those times. I think he was off about +3. He's very modest though, Andrew. He won't really talk too much about it, but he's actually fixing you and the missus up with a coffee on the balcony. And did you notice how I didn't get the offer of one? And
I'm cheeky enough to ask for one.
I've got a mouth like a vulture's crutch at the moment. Anyway, so we've got got Charlie Daughtry, who's going to be in the biggest bucket hat of all. Now you can follow Charlie on Twitter. Character, he kind of calls the shots. I think's in the team. Big influence. He got the bucket hats on the uniform outfit, and then on the who were with John Beasley. So is that
That's Cheshire.
that's a Cheshire shirt?
And that's Yorkshire.
Cheshire, yeah, Yorkshire are a big outfit, aren't they?
Yes. We've got 182 clubs.
I know. I know.
And Lancashire got 131.
I know. I'll tell you a story in a second. Let's just see what he does here. Oh, didn't like that.
No.
But you see how it's just kind of crept its way up there. So Charlie's got a chance of a two. No, I had a job of phoning up every golf club in the north of England. So there was a reason. I'm not gonna explain it. It was a job I had to do, and it took weeks. And I can say, okay, that out of all the counties, the clubs, the counties who answered the phone, you spoke to the secretary, you got the right information, there is no question, Yorkshire were the sharpest and quickest on average. They are so quick. Obviously they were thinking maybe there's some money in it for them, I don't know, but fair play to them. So when you go to their websites, they were absolutely tip top, and it's the same old thing. You know, this is a business that we're in as well, and all the golf clubs out there have got to be a bit quicker, a bit sharper. Make sure the right person answers the phone.
Part of the trouble with Northumberland, Yorkshire is so big and covers such a vast area that they have, 7 internal regions that run virtually like a county.
Charlie Daughtry.
When you get to
Lovely pup.
Northumberland, there's some clubs you'll never get a contact with
Yeah.
because there's nobody there.
Yeah.
It's
Part-time.
it's part-time.
Yeah.
And I can think of a number of clubs that are in the most stunning locations, and they have an honesty box still.
There's something nice about that. So if I was going to go to Northumberland on a little golfing tour, where should I go for those cute little clubs? Has he got it? Yes, he has. Tricky one.
What I would recommend is you contacted Allenmouth, which is a big club, but they have a dormy house. They have 20 odd bedrooms, and I would suggest you stayed there. Maybe play it, which is it's a big club. It's an upmarket club, but it's a big club. It's 18 holes, and it is on the coast. It's on the cliff top. It's not a links golf course. And then I would recommend that you have a game of golf in the same village at a course called Allenmouth Village, which claims to be the oldest 9-hole golf course in England.
Allenmouth.
Allenmouth.
Allen.
A-L-N mouth. It's the
Oh, okay.
River Allen.
Yeah.
It's about 5 miles, 6 miles from Alnwick.
Oh, okay.
The Allenmouth Village is right on the beach. It's where we take our junior squads to teach them to play golf in the middle of winter, so they get all the bad weather coming in at them.
Yeah.
But it's a lovely little 9 holes, and it means we can pull them off after 9 holes if the weather's too bad. And got a nice little clubhouse, beautiful clubhouse, does good food and looks after you very well. If you go a bit further up the coast, you come to a village called Embleton, and if you follow the road down to the beach from Embleton, you come to another club called Dunstanburgh Castle, and the clubhouse is a refurbished wooden shack, but it is does huge amounts of business with walkers, does good food, and has got a superb links golf course.
I'm liking the sound of that because my son Robert, who's in the shop today, selling the Mars bars and the
Right.
cans of Monster Energy. Don't touch that stuff. Drive you mental. Hopefully, if the A-level results stars all line up, he'll be going to Northumbria.
I would say that's a good move. Northumbria have had some very good golfers through them and are in the top division of the university's championship. They have a good sports programme, Northumbria. Myself, I worked 43 years at Newcastle University, where I met my wife. So I was across the road from it. But again, they have different connections with some of the local clubs where they play. And I'm not sure where Northumbria play at the moment, if it's close house or not. But they have connections. They might also play in Northumberland. But they have connections all over the area.
We know it's an exciting place to be a student. So
I hope he enjoys them and doesn't get too drunk.
So, well, as long as he hasn't got the willpower of a flip-flop like his father, but there we go. I think he's a bit more disciplined. So I like this. I like the idea that you can actually go for a golfing holiday up that end. I do like that.
Well, there are a number of clubs around Newcastle that I would say you could play as well and have a thoroughly enjoyable time. And even if you go out to the west, you've got places like Hexham, you've got Slaley Hall, which you'll have probably heard of. Yeah. There's another big golf course complex called Matfern Hall Hotel Complex, which has good golf courses. And then you have the clubs that run down the Tyne Valley, and they're quite interesting courses to play. And then if you go up into the hills, you've got Haltwhistle and you've got Alston. And if you go to the far north, up in the top end of the Pennines, you've got Wooler, which are 9-hole courses, which are quite interesting to play.
Now then, we have got one of our favourite people. We've got Jamie Arneil. He's the Ramsey legend. He's a greenskeeper. He's won the Town Cups on most of the courses on the Isle of Man. Holder of the Mount Murray Cup, the Peel Cup, the Ramsey Town Cup. He's been the island champion. And he's absolutely stoked one down the middle. And he's with Wayne Mells from Durham. Another big unit. Crikey. That's about 45 stone a golfer between them. Oh, nice little punt there, just down. Yep, Jamie Arneil. So he's a greenkeeper as well at Ramsey. Ramsey, pristine condition, always good. Everyone loves it. It's like velvet.
I was going to say Ramsey is a course that I've never been to or played, but I've heard an awful lot of things about Ramsey. And
oh, it's lush. Absolutely lush. And Jamie's there, so he's their number one golfer, and he's mowing it as well, and he's passionate about it. It's great.
They should have played this at Ramsey then.
Well, I don't know. I think having the hotel alongside here does help.
Well,
a bit.
it does. It's all the accommodation. I don't think people realise how big an event this is.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's only when you're here that you realise this isn't just a event that comes occasionally. There's a gentleman walking along here with his hat and badge on.
All right.
That's one of our past presidents called Stan Peat. He's 86 years of age.
I think he should come in.
And he definitely he has never been to the Isle of Man in all the time he's been on the executive. And he decided this year he would come to the Isle of Man to see what it was all about.
Well, perhaps we can get him to relate his experiences. Is he the treasurer?
No, he's a past president.
A past president, okay. So it's good though, because the northern counties, it's important because you're giving not just the experience, but you're giving memories, aren't you, to people? And these young players, they'll remember the Isle of Man forever. They'll,
Yep.
they'll,
Yes.
oh, I remember,
And you're probably going to see some young players here that in the future will be big stars in golf.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if I just look back to the 2015 Northern Counties, I printed it out today, and funnily, I'm looking at Lancashire. Ian Kenwright, he was playing, and he had a 73 and a 69. Let's see, who would he have for...
Andrew Minikin played for Northumberland in that one. Let's see, Phil Ridden played. They're both playing today.
They are. So Phil had a 143. So the lowest scores that day, Ian Kenwright had a 69.
No, that was the person who won it was Jake Story. Now there's a story about that. The year previously, he was a junior, and he won the individual Little Six. The following year, he came here and won the Big Six individual.
How's about that? That's a double, isn't it?
He's now in America. He lives in America. He went to college in America, and he lives in America. And at one time, he had a +8 handicap. Alex, yes, he was playing. Let's see who else.
Alex Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he was a young man at the time. The first time I refereed a Big Six, Tommy Fleetwood was playing.
Oh, wow. So you've seen them all come and go. What was Tommy like?
Oh, he was lovely. He was nice. He stood on the first tee in the second round at Wallasey and nearly lost his golf ball, because I was standing where it landed. He'd never have found it unless I'd been standing there. But yes, that's the level of players we have here, and I'm sure there's some more in this lot that are coming through.
But isn't it fair to say that at this level, sometimes the skill, the future, their ability to win big doesn't quite materialise, does it, at this level? You can't. It's not as though everyone saw Tommy Fleetwood and thought, oh, he's the next big thing.
No.
Same with Danny Willett, I guess. Did you see him?
Yes, I've seen Danny Willett. I have a friend who's Danny Willett's caddy.
Oh, go on.
He's caddied for a lot of top golfers. He's always worked on the European tour, and then Danny Willett rang him last year. He was having a year off, but he was rung. He got a phone call last year and said, would he like to work with Danny Willett, which he now does. But he would have been here if he hadn't been at work last week. I think he might have been in the Northumberland team or on the fringes of it. Very good golfer.
I think as a job, it's not a bad job, is it, that one?
Not on the money he gets. Gets very good money. Gets well paid to do things, and he has to be well paid to travel the world.
Who have we got coming through here? We've got Morgan Blythe coming through on the third tee, I would say, and Jack McPhail.
Morgan is one of the ones that could come through from Northumberland. Very good junior. He was beaten in the semi-final of the British Boys last year at I'm trying to think where they were playing. Carnoustie. It was a Carnoustie. But he's now too old for the juniors, but he's very good.
Who is the most impressive ball striker you've seen?
Callum Tarrant from Durham. He now plays on the PGA Tour.
Oh, okay.
hits the ball so far, it's unbelievable. You're talking about getting on for 100 yards against an opponent in some county matches. That long. 300's a short drive for him.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
That's ball striking. I've seen I've seen players who are better scorers because they know how to manipulate the ball around a golf course and they can chip and putt. To be a top pro, it's not about hitting the ball a long way. It's about it's hitting it long enough to give yourself a reasonably easy second shot, but it all comes down to how good a putter and a chipper you are. If you miss a green, you're up and down and all that goes with it.
It's getting it round, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, just coming up here on the green, I can't understand why a golfer would play and carry the bag.
There are some that will carry bags and there will be others. We have some on our sort of team that will carry their bags. They just normally do it. They've done it for years. They play 36 holes of golf regularly. It doesn't bother them.
Oh, we got a new leader on the app, Greg Holmes, who's 3 under. Let me just scroll down.
Where's
Darryl.
James Glenn?
James Glenn is 1 under.
Right.
So he's tied second.
Interesting person, James Glenn.
Go on.
He started playing for Durham when he was at Durham University. He came to Durham University from Texas. He's a Texan.
Oh, I've met him.
Lovely person. And he and his wife have settled in Durham.
Liam Cowan, cross-handed as we know. Come on, ball, just roll a little bit more, go on. Just a little bit short. Liam, local lad, absolute legend. Super strong player. Strong as an ox. With Jamie Van Wyk, who I think is pretty handy. Oh, so James Glenn, yes, he. I made him a coffee today. A coffee.
Yeah.
Pure instant.
But he's played for Durham for a number of years now. And last year he won the North of England Open that's run by Northern Counties at Seaton Carew. He won it last year, which is a 72-hole tournament.
What brought him to UK to live?
Do a PhD.
What? Do you know what in? Do you know what it is?
I'm not going to. I don't know exactly. I'd have to be able to say exactly what it's in, but it's sort of like sports management type things or something like that. But anyways,
he's got a very good presence about him, a good manner. I liked him. I saw him yesterday, and I saw him this morning, and he just stands out. Oh, nice golf from Liam.
Jamie from Lancashire was in the winning team last year at Hallamshire in Yorkshire.
Yeah, tell me, was that a surprise win? Because, you know, a ram raid from the Lancastrians going into White Rose territory.
I think it was a win that was, yes, a bit of a surprise, but it's getting the whole team to play together and not have somebody to have a nightmare and find it too difficult to play. Or the pressure just builds up on them and they have one or two bad holes and the rest of the round just goes.
And you've been attached to this event for many years, and you've seen that happen, haven't you?
Oh, yes, I've seen play. I would say if you talk to some players, they think it's the worst they've ever been on the first tee. Maybe not quite like a Ryder Cup, but getting very close to it, where their nerves. It's not that they can't play golf; they wouldn't be in the teams if they couldn't. What it is that it's not playing for yourself. It's playing for everybody around you.
I think you've got to have a certain character build, a certain character. I know I couldn't do it.
Well, I know the last time Northumberland won, one of the players came. Yeah. One of the players came in and handed his card in and nearly in tears because he thought he'd lost it. The rest of the team won it because we had 5 scores under par at one stage, and that is it's very rare that happens. The best score I've ever heard after a first round was at Wallasey, and a Lancashire team was 30 under par, and they played to their handicaps.
Blimey.
That was the team that Tommy Fleetwood was in.
Oh, wow.
And that was probably the best team I've seen play here. And Wallasey is Cheshire, but it's close to Liverpool. It's just across the water from Liverpool. And it's a beautiful links golf course, and they'd all played it. They played in all the competitions there. And they knew the course, but they could play golf as well.
And of course, you get these groups of golfers that come together in phases, don't you? So you'll have like a generation that comes through where it all meshes and the team gets on, and you've got the right manager.
Yes, I mean, this golfer coming up here now on the tee is a young lad called Harrison Sewell, who is probably at the moment the best the junior golfer in Northumberland. He's the Northumberland County Junior Champion. He won his first England cap last year at under 16 level. He has a potential to be one of our best golfers.
So tell me, how's that come about? What's his background? Is it a family thing, or the golf club has been a bit special?
It's a family. It's partly family. His father was a top County Durham golfer.
Oh, and he's hit the nearest to the pin so far. Nearest the pin competition winner so far.
His father was a top golfer, but his father's never really pushed him. His father, when he was younger, wanted to play golf with his dad, so he started. He's then gradually gone from there. His father now has virtually stopped playing golf because he's too busy taking his son round to all these golf events all over the country.
Enjoying every minute of it, I bet.
Well, he says he finds it hard because he's still got to work, but it's good to see. And so at 16, he was in 15. He was in the team that won the county finals. He was in that.
He was in that team. Let's see how his score is performing.
I don't know what his score is. I hope it's reasonable.
So that's Harrison Sewell. Let's have a look. So Greg Holmes is 3 under Lancashire. James Glenn 1 under, and that's on the 16th. I'm not quite sure how this scoring system works, how they do it. Let's see. Harrison is level, but this says after 6. So here they're on at 11. So
Is this I thought this was 9.
No, this is 11.
11.
The ninth is a
Oh, is that?
quite an easy par 5.
Uh-huh.
You know, be downwind today. They'll be getting on in 2 there or thereabouts. So let's see what he's done so far. Harrison he had a birdie on the second, wind behind par 4, and then he bogeyed the par 3 up the hill. Are you wanting to get your cup of coffee?
I'm going to go and get a cup of coffee if you
Look,
don't mind.
Ian, it's been an absolute pleasure. If you're about this afternoon, come and say hello. Great to have all that information
I hope it's
about
been
those
helpful
players.
to you.
Of course it has.
I know
Fantastic.
you let most of it out.
Lovely stuff. That was Ian Harrison, the president, top official of Northumberland. Great just to have that bit of background, and you can see someone who's very passionate about the game. Passionate about his county as well. So what it's all about is getting the right people in the right places. People who've got some skills. What about that? I've just got a coffee coming. Lovely. Always get looked after if you look thirsty enough for long enough. So that was it. Harrison Sewell, so he's a young lad, and he's playing with Jack Hunter. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Now then. Mount Murray members, just off the green, in the messy fringy bit that's a bit too long to... I'd be putting it though, from here. Oh, right then, it's a horror bag of a shot, isn't it, to do, and he's just going to roll it past. You see that? Did you see that? Zero fun, zero happiness with that. The Bronte Chipmaster is the answer. I keep telling the wards. That's what you need. A Bronte Chipmaster. So we've only had 1-2 today so far, and that was Dan Hayes of Cheshire. Harrison is closer than that. Right, come on, Jack. Let's knock this in. Get the par. Slippery, slippery putt. Is it going to move? Is it straight? I think the actual line is just a... You're talking about millimetres getting it right. Oh, you see that? It kind of does a handbrake turn, puts the brakes on, walking off with a 4. You see that? Stayed up. In for a 3. Missed opportunity though, we know that at this level. Get it within, 10 feet for a birdie, uphill-ish. So let's see who we've got coming next after this one. We've got George Ash and we've got our very own Frederick Dancox. Will be coming up on the 11th. Freddie. Our man Freddie. So we just got a bit of a gap. I'm going to get a coffee. Here we go. Garifar. Our Lancashire man. It would be great if he could just share a few words now. We're broadcasting live, far and wide. You're going to have to go around. There we go. Brilliant. We've got Lancashire team captain coming up. Had a good chat with him yesterday. Gareth White, isn't it? That's White, I think. Brilliant. So just coming up, he's just going to be alongside of me. So it's Gareth. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you're under a bit of pressure today with all going on. You're stewarding, you're captaining. Story so far?
Yeah, decent start for us this morning. Steady away. We've got a couple of lads under par, which is lovely. Course is excellent from what we've seen this morning. Greens are excellent. Weather's set fair. So yeah, good start for us. I think there's been some difficulties on the first hole for a couple of boys. Thankfully not our lads. But yeah, very good start for us so far.
On that first hole, did the hedge come into play on the right? Was that the...
Yeah, I think that the hedge, left and right, is about 270 off the tee. I think unfortunately it's caught a couple of lads. Always tempting, if you've had to take a drop to then try and go for the green with your next one. I think that's caught a couple of lads out as well. So,
and of course there's a bit of nerves. There's a bit of frustration when something like that happens.
Yeah, first hole. You've got to temper your expectations a little bit. Can't win it on the first hole, definitely not.
So last night you had the meal, bit of a get together. What was the mood like?
Really good last night. Pretty relaxed. We had our senior team here with us last night as well. So as you do when a load of golfers get together, shared some stories, all that type of thing. Had a good laugh. All my boys were in bed for 9:30. I'm reliably informed. But yeah, good night. A couple of drinks. Yeah, it was good.
That's great. And you've got Kenwright, haven't you, Mr. Kenwright, on your team, and he has got a bit of history here, hasn't he?
Yeah. So Ian played it 8 years ago, 2015.
Yep.
We actually won it that year as well. I think Kenner's might have been the low score that year as well, on an individual basis. And strangely enough, he played with exactly the same player that he's playing with today, a lad called Rob Spence, Cumbrian lad. So they've got the same grouping. They've not played together since either, played against each other since. But yeah, 8 years later, the pair of them playing together again.
There could be something fortuitous about that. And of course, he did have a good score. I've got his score. He had a 69 in his second round. In fact, I'll pull these scores up. Let's see. So you can have a look here. So I can say that team was Kieran Doherty, Sean Blinkhorn, Henry Tomlinson, Adam Stone, Jonathan Hurst and Ian Kenwright.
Yeah, what's that? 8 years ago now?
Yeah, 876. They won it. The Isle of Man was in touching distance, 6 shots out.
Not very far away at all. We, I suppose, almost don't know that much about the Isle of Man in the sense that we don't play them every year in the league, for example, so we don't get to see their lads all that much. But what we do know is that they're ultra competitive, on their own turf, all that type of thing. So yeah, force to be reckoned with quite possibly today.
It is, and I think maybe the boys realise that these greens aren't as straightforward as what they think.
Yeah, very much so. I think you can... Patience is key on these greens. I think there's go puts and there's no go puts. I think there's puts you can be aggressive with and some that you certainly need to be relatively defensive. But they're good enough. The greens are pure, so if you hit a good putt, generally it goes in.
So it's obviously the big event, but these lads have got a full calendar all summer. Well, what happens this weekend, for instance?
Yeah, so I would guess this weekend they're probably not going to do all that much. Hopefully, we'll have had a good day today. But yeah, a lot of our lads are effectively full-time amateurs now. I think there's only probably Ian that kind of works on a full-time basis. So all the other lads are golfing, which is great. Realistically, on this golf course, fitness is an element to it as well. So we've looked at, which of our lads are going to get round the 36 and still have a bit left in the tank. Walking up the 17th fairway later on today, because it's quite grueling round this course.
So Ian has got a bit of age on him, has he?
He has. He's 30. I think he's 36, 37 maybe, Ian. But he's an absolute racing snake. He's as fit as they come.
Because you don't get many young lads called Ian these days. It's like you don't get many Kevins about.
No. I think the name's disappeared a little bit. But Kenners is an athlete. Let's put it that way.
Oh, fantastic! And you've got an earpiece in. What's the story?
Yeah, so we stay in contact with each other. Myself, some of the other officials that we've got, Craig, the coach, Mark, the secretary. I suppose it's just with so many lads on spread out on such a big golf course, it's for us to stay in touch, because things can change quite rapidly, particularly this afternoon if it gets close. There might need to be some decision making, on whether we're aggressive or perhaps more cautious in the way that we play this afternoon. And just simple stuff like getting drinks around to people who need them, stuff like that.
Well, we've got one of our Manx lads, Freddie Dancox, knows this course well. He's only young. I think he's sub 20. Now, for the Isle of Man players, it's quite difficult. We've got Robbie Noon, who's another one that likes to travel and play in events. Thank you very much. Okay, good luck.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
Speak to you later. We've got Robbie Noon and we've got Freddie, who like to play in events far and wide. But it's difficult, isn't it, that stretch of water, to make all our golfers competitive is a little bit prohibitive. Come on, Freddie, knock it close. Oh, he's hit a good one. Well done, Freddie. Bit of breeze just got up. I can just feel it over my shoulder there. And he's in a good place there. He'll know this putt. Grew up on this course. Oh, that's me refreshed. Cup of coffee. Lovely. Yeah, grew up on this course. But he's like a lot of players for the island who've showed real talent, who've played well and risen up through the ranks of our junior golf, and it's just travelling away and playing at a higher level isn't easy. It's expensive. It can be big pressure on the parents. Over the years, we've had some excellent sponsors with the Golf Union. We've had companies, local businesses who've supported the local scene to exceptional levels, and I think it's really important that we have a framework that is built, it's carefully planned, it's got the right people, we've got people who can attract some help, some investment, that can provide sponsorship, and have just got that, what is it, that je ne sais quoi, that X factor that can breed success. And I think having almost like a ladder process where young golfers, perhaps when they get in their teens, can jump on that ladder and be elevated where there's help, where they need it, when they need it, but they've got to show the, what can I say, not just the ability, but the dedication and the commitment and the love really to fly the Isle of Man flag. And I think these component parts need to really be put together. We've got some amazing businesses here on the island. We've got companies where they're generating a lot of cash, and I think to have a system where the company gets recognised and rewarded for supporting local golf, I think if it's put together in such a way that's credible, I think there's so much opportunity. Because when it comes down to it, when we're up against Yorkshire, you're up against an army of golfers, aren't you? But not just that, you're looking at a back office, a structure that is much greater, much bigger than what's in our island. George Ash, Yorkshire golfer, recognised by the bucket hat. Bucket hat? Quite like it. Remember that, the Trilby Tour? What was he called? Right, come on, Freddie, knock it in. Just pulled it a touch, and now if you see that ball just track like it did, where it almost sucked the life out of it as it's been pulled away from the hole. Nicely done, Freddie. 3. Just take a breath for a minute. It's got quite a walk up to the 12th tee, past the hotel, past the gym. And in it goes. Pair of 3s. Good lad, Freddie. Good to see. You got the Ramsey Massive. You got Dad following you around, supporting you, encouraging. There we go. What a great experience for the lad. Absolutely fantastic. Forget the scores in some ways. Just look at the experience points that are captured on life's golfing journey when taking part in something like this. So our next game on the tee, they teed off at 9 o'clock. So we're 10 past 11. And it tells me that it's Craig Holmes and John Kennedy. John Kennedy. Well, I never. Well, he's not going to be hitting from the grassy knoll. He's going to be hitting from the tee box at the back of the 11th on this tricky par 3 that has asked a few questions today. We've only had a few fours. I've had, I think, 1, 2. That was Hayes, wasn't it, from Cheshire? But there's a bit of breeze going over my shoulder. Let's have a look at my Golf Genius app. See how these guys are doing, if I can find them, if they're featuring. So who have we got here? Oh, hello! That was rather tasty with a yellow ball. That's about the closest yet. Greg Holmes, Lancashire, 3 under, but I don't think that was him. Well, that was a sweet little effort, wasn't it? See if we can follow it up. Big divot. Just the buggy to get in the way. There we go. So I think that's the best 2 shots that we've seen. Now then, Harrison Sewell is 3 under. Top of the leaderboard. Greg Holmes, who I think is in this 2 ball just coming up here, is 3 under. But remember, that's 3 under after 6. So we're not quite on time, as it were. Oh, Haminder. He's 1 under. So let's see who else do we got. Darrell is level. Scrolling down, Freddie is 1 over after 6. So these scores could have changed because we're on the 11th hole. So Charlie Daughtry. Liam Cowan was 3 over. Sam Crawford 3 over. John Kennedy is 4 over. So let's see, John Kennedy. Yeah, so he is 4 over. So he's got the blue shirt on. So he's 4 over some time ago. He might have repaired some damage there. Hopefully he can sink this one. Greg Holmes, so going well. Wearing the red rose. So that's Gareth, the team manager, who was just taking a bit of time to have a chat. Filling us in on the Lancashire team and what goes on. All seems very organised. In good shape. Well, I'm just joined by a man who is wearing the white rose, but I did notice that you had a bigger camera than me.
Yes, I do. Yeah, that's my pocket camera. I do have a bigger one at home. I'm only joking.
So who's alongside me?
Cameron Thompson, I'm the past president of the Yorkshire Union. A few years ago, I did the 2 years during COVID.
Quite a few years then.
The first year was quiet, second year we got going and it was fine. It was absolutely wonderful. Made some good friends with all the other counties, so yeah, enjoyed it.
I spoke to David Appleyard yesterday,
Yes.
who was very focused indeed. The Yorkshire didn't quite get what they wanted last year, and I'm sure there's a bit more energy, a bit more commitment, I'd say, this year to
I think
win the
so.
title.
Yeah. We're always committed. Every year we're committed to it. But we're a big county. We've got lots of golfers. We've got lots of golf courses. We've got nearly 60,000 golfers in Yorkshire, so we've got a big pool to choose from, unlike some of the smaller counties. But that's the way it goes.
I'll just want to see if I get this too. So this is John Kennedy. Durham. Oh, and he's always just taken a bit of a detour there. Tricky placement on this hole. Yeah, I did a survey last year on all the golf clubs in the northwest of on the north of England, and it meant phoning up every golf club.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, and I've said it before, is that out of all the counties, the sharpest golf courses with their websites, with the phone manner, with speaking to the right people, was Yorkshire by a country mile.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
It was so noticeable. So if you go onto the websites of Yorkshire golf clubs, generally they're tip top. But when you phone up and you speak to the secretaries, they'd be on it. And it was so noticeable for that. So that's obviously down to you as being the best.
Not me personally, no, but it's nice to hear that you get all the information you need from the golf clubs.
No, even so, the likes of just the social media output, the togetherness that Yorkshire has, and I had a good chat with David yesterday about the golf development and how important it is to have the right people, but also a framework that is successful.
Yeah.
I mean, in your mind, very quickly, golf development, what are the key aspects for bringing young people into the game and perhaps reaching a level like these elite players are today?
Just watch this guy tee off, and then
Wind's going to catch that. See that breeze has just got up?
Yeah.
You see that?
Wow.
He's got a...
Oh, no, it's
he was
sure.
well short there, wasn't he?
Yeah, well,
He's 3 clubs out. But that wind's just got up there,
yeah.
Yes, golf development.
Yeah, well,
Keys to success.
we invest a lot of money in it to help with coaching for juniors that's at county level. But I'm just going to name one golf club with a scheme that they have at Cottingham Parks Golf Club in near Hull. They have a scheme where they've bought golf clubs and they rent them out to juniors at £20 a year for a whole set. And they start off at a size where 7-year-olds, when they get to 9 years old, they give those in, and they get another set to suit a 9-year-old size because they're growing all the time. Then at 13 or whatever, however big the lads or girls get, they exchange the golf clubs until they're big enough to buy their own set. And it's a scheme that is really working. They've got about 70 or 80 junior members now because of that scheme. Fantastic scheme.
Now then, I love the concept, but you need the people behind it.
Yeah.
And you need some key people to drive it. People
well,
who've got that energy.
Well, they have. Yeah.
Is that just by luck?
I think it's because one of the guys who was driving it, his son, is a junior player. So maybe that's what has driven it, but they're keeping it going even now that the son is older. They're still keeping the scheme going.
So what's the name?
Cottingham Parks.
Cottingham Parks. We're going to have to look up on that. And then generally you'll be working in partnership with the Golf Foundation, with their projects and things. Yeah. But really, a lot of it's down to clubs.
It is,
and just getting people to perhaps step out of their regular 4-ball and give it a bit of time now and again.
Yeah. Well, the golf club, I belong to Beverley Golf Club, and our professional does Sunday afternoon tuition with the juniors, Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. Really committed to it. So it's good.
That's what it's all about. Is commitment. Now, this is we We've got a few Q's and Cus, kind of Celtic surnames.
Yeah.
It's almost like Quince is like a Saxon name, isn't it? I'll have
Yeah.
to look that one up.
No, yeah.
Anyone watching, please put it in the comments box. What is the origin of the surname Quince? Of course, you've got Jonathan Blackstone.
We do have, yeah. Yeah. He's here today somewhere.
That is a proper Anglo-Saxon name, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
So you've got the long lens out.
Yeah.
Great look, shall I? The long lens is going to be out. Where can I see your imagery?
I put them on my website, and I usually put them up on all the TV screens when we have our annual dinner at the racecourse at York. All my pictures go up there on the TV screens for everybody to see.
Right
And
then.
it's usually the men's team, the seniors team, and some junior teams. As
So-
players, I put them up there.
So the website, if anyone needs to find it,
Cameron Thompson photo,
Cameron Thompson Photo. And
but the photos for today are not on yet.
oh, I know that, but people love that. So the likes of say we're doing this on YouTube now, and
Yeah. Okay.
it's been shared out far and wide. But the good thing about this is that the boys and they'll be able to refer to it in time to come.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully, relive that day when they got success.
Well, let's hope so. Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've got AJ, the hotel manager, just alongside me. Reese is getting up, AJ, isn't it?
Sure is. Maybe a bit more tasty this afternoon for them.
I mean, you've played this hole, and if anyone wants to see how to score a perfect two, it's on this YouTube channel. But it looks pretty innocuous. It looks like you're hitting it onto a tennis court, but that's not the story, is it?
No, it plays about a club and a half longer than it actually looks from the tee. Good putt. First two rounds are in. Level par and 1 under.
I like that. That's good. I think we've got someone out at about 3 under at the moment. There's a scoring app. It's got the live scoring. But nobody's going to tear it apart.
Well, I think they will. I think the course record's under pressure this afternoon. If the wind stays down.
Well, AJ, you're usually right. You are usually right. I've known you long enough now that you are usually right. So, yeah, I hope so. That would be an eventful end to the day. So, AJ, you played a bit of competitive golf in your time.
I suppose I have.
What's it like? What are the butterflies like when you stand up on that first tee and you're playing in a team event? So you're not playing solo. It's your score along with, say, 5 other teammates. It piles on the pressure for some, doesn't it?
Extremely difficult because it being a solo sport, you're only one person, but when you're paying for everybody else, the pressure is completely different. I haven't played county level golf myself in various formats and also internationally. You're playing for your team and you're playing for your county, your country, whatever. It's a different level of pressure.
Well, knowing you and knowing what you do at this fantastic hotel and what you brought to it and all the success and everything, I'm sure you handle the pressure very well.
Not nowadays with the yips I've got.
Thank you, AJ. Lovely. That's fantastic. AJ just alongside. He's our hotel manager at the Comis, which of course is a great resort for all your holiday needs when you come to the island. And maybe you're watching 01614 661111 and get yourself a holiday boot. Dead simple. Hop over on the ferry, or even book yourself a flight. So I can see on the sea we've got Sam Crawford, whose dad is a big part of the Isle of Man Steam Packet. That beautiful vessel, the Manxman, is sitting in the harbour now. Looks like a giant cruise ship. I can't wait till that's all up and running. The wind is getting up. The wind is getting up. The tide is changing, you see. He knows. AJ, he knows the tide is either going in or going out. Right then. Nice shot. So yeah, the wind has just picked up. All my notes are blowing everywhere. So we've got Joseph Robson and Sam Crawford, 18 years old. I think he's due to go to college in the USA. Played for the Isle of Man. Great experience for Sam. Lovely lad. Absolute gentleman. Wind is just picking up now. He'll know this, won't he? He knows this course so well. Just a bit of a pause, a bit of delay. Has he just pulled it a little bit left? Has he? Yeah, he has, but it's fine. It's pin high. He had the right equipment in his hands. So I'll have a look on the app, see what the scoring is doing. So just getting a bit of chatter that our audio isn't quite right. It's just dropped out a little bit. Let me just have a bit of a play. See how we get on. So just let's step aside for a second. So just a bit of a technical issue that we're going to try and solve. We just bear with us. Just working on